Hey all, welcome back. It's me, Kevin. Now, every single one of us wants our career to advance forward. Am I right? Whether it is because we want to get a better pay, or we want more responsibilities, or maybe we're just plain bored. Getting promoted is definitely one of the best feelings that you can get throughout your career. But in my career, in my many years of experience working in different companies and different industries, I've literally seen people who stayed in the same position for many, many years. And even sometimes the same person could be working for the same company for their entire life. And I find that's really interesting because I'm not that type of person who will stay in the same company and work for the same company for my entire life. That's just not how I work. But I'm curious, why do people actually stay in the same company, right? So I ended up asking them like, hey, why are you just working with the same company? Don't you want to change job or change to a different company? Aren't you bored? And the answers I get are two different answers. The first one is, to me, a little bit boring. They just want to stay in the same position. As long as they have the money, they can survive, they can pay off their rents, their mortgage, and they can put food on the table, then they're happy. But the second lot is rather interesting because they do want to advance their career. They do want to climb up the corporate ladder. So their justification here is that if they were to stay in the same company and if they were to be loyal to the same company, then they would increase the chances of them getting promoted. Now, to some extent, I do agree that if you were to be loyal to the same company, you do have a chance of getting a better position, I guess. But also, I find that a little far-fetched, at least to my experience. I've been in 7 different jobs in over a decade, and I've seen many people who, some of them, they do climb the corporate ladder really quick, and some just stay stagnant for 10 years, 20 years. And there's a massive difference why that happens. And if I were you, I wouldn't want to be staying in the same position for 10 years. If I'm not moving forwards in the next 2 years, then to me, I'm not moving forward at all in terms of my career. So today, I just want to share with you my experience on how I actually started off as a tech support and I moved on to become an IT manager or a technical lead in under just 10 years. And I hope you can take away some of these tips I'm about to share with you so that you can apply them to your career as well and you too can get the position you deserve. Point number 1 is you do not want to stay in the same position, in the same job for far too long. The reason I changed 7 different jobs in under 10 years is because every 1 or 2 years or so, I would tend to look for a different job. And it's not like I'm not being loyal to the company or anything, but it's more like once I'm in the same job for about 1 or 2 years, the job kind of gets stale and I get really bored and there's nothing much left to learn. And to me, if I were to come into work every day 9 to 5 and I'm not learning anything new or I'm not advancing myself and I'm not growing personally, then my career is kind of just stuck. It just doesn't move up anymore. And every time I change to a different job, I make sure that the job that I apply for is the position that is above my current level. That way I can ask for an increment as well. So my salary tends to jump about 20% for every job I change. In a way, it's kind of like giving myself a self-promotion, and I find that a lot more efficient, a lot more effective, and it's just saved a lot of my time. I mean, sure, I can definitely stay in the same company, in the same job, and hope there will be an opening and a promotion, an internal promotion or something. I just don't find that to be as quick, And I used to believe that loyalty to a company can get you promoted easily. But more often than not, I would say that whenever there's a chance to get promoted, it would be replaced externally, meaning someone else is going to get the position. That position is going to get advertised and then someone's going to come for an interview. And this person who's going to get that top position you wanted is going to be someone who knows nothing about the company at all. Maybe not at all, but that person definitely do not know as much about the company as you do. And I've seen this happening maybe 8 out of 10 times. And it sucks, right? I mean, it doesn't suck for me because I changed job and I give myself self-promotion. But for those people who actually stayed back in the same company for about 5 years or 10 years, and when the position is finally opened, they don't get promoted. Instead, it's given to someone else out there just because they have better networking skills. And this is also why I feel that if you're staying in the same position for 5 to 10 years and just hope that you're going to get promoted, there's a very slim chance that's going to happen if you're not doing this one thing. Point 2 is all about improving your skills. And I'm not referring to technical skills. Those are skills that you get from reading textbooks or just searching online or even watching YouTube videos to learn new things. What I would choose to improve on is my soft skills. Soft skills are things like your attitude, your personality, your internal motivation. Having these soft skills says a lot about you, especially when it comes to how you manage your job and your work. For example, if you enhance your soft skills, then you will appear to be more responsible, you'll start to take more initiative, and you're able to work independently. You may have a really high problem-solving skills, but that doesn't mean you're extremely clever, but it is more towards because you have really good soft skills, and those soft skills enables you to seek out answers to questions that you do not have answers to. I actually find that as I continue to enhance my soft skills, I made myself a lot more desirable for top positions. And that's because I combined technical skills with soft skills, and people do notice, when you have a really good work ethic, when you're responsible and you take initiative and you show some leadership, because of those soft skills, then people do take notice of you. There are many different ways to improve your soft skills, and not a single method works for one particular individual. So I suggest you just look it up, do your own research to see if there's a method that works very well for you. My way is kind of extreme. I do it the brute force way, where I just take on difficult challenges and I do this trial and error methods where, if I fail, I just want to fail fast so that I learn fast and I do not repeat the same mistake again. But I'm able to do that because I know why I'm doing that. Therefore, I can have that motivation to push myself to get what I desire. So maybe this is something that you should be looking for as well. But if for some reasons you can't find your source of motivation, then here's a suggestion for you. Point 3 is to learn as much as you can at the start of your career. So once you graduated and you land yourself a job, make sure the job is teaching you something and not because it is giving you a really high pay. I have a friend who works for the same company ever since he graduated, even up till now. And his justification is, if he stay loyal to the same company, then chances are he's going to get promoted. And that's not an issue, that is his own methods. I'm sure that works in some way. But if he and I were to quit our job today and we apply for the same position for the same company and we go through the same interview, then I have no doubt that I will definitely get the job instead of him. And the reason here is quite simple, and I'm not trying to be arrogant here or anything, but it is because when I was in my 20s, I spent a lot of my time job hopping, and I tried to learn every single new thing I can in every different job. Every single company works differently. They have their own system, they have their own process and protocol. Every company is different. And I wanted to know how different companies work differently and how do they establish their path to success. So that in return broadens my knowledge. I essentially made myself a lot more desirable because of all of this vast experience. And so if I were to apply for a position, not only am I able to do what they want me to do based on their position description or their requirements, but because of my experience, I'm able to share different strategies and methods that I learned from all these different companies, and I can help the company grow in a different way. And on top of that, throughout my career, I know many different people from different industries. So my network is slowly increasing. And I'm not sure if you noticed that, but if you want to advance your career, one of the hidden criteria is people want to know who you know. So I would suggest that try and start doing this when you're in your 20s. Learn as much as you can. Network with as many people as possible because you don't know when you will need them in the future. And you better do this fast before you settle down and start your family. Because once you choose to settle down and start a family, things just get a lot harder just because you do not have that much time. Okay, so point number 4 is acknowledging your weakness. I think partially most people are unable to climb the corporate ladder is because they kind of refuse to acknowledge that they have a weakness. I mean, no one is perfect. I have my own weakness as well. But some people just have this really bad attitude that everything is just about them. So if they do not get promoted, they never think that it's their fault. To get promoted is not just about staying loyal to a company or working really hard. So say if you want to get to a position of authority, like a manager position or something, you need to be able to demonstrate that you have leadership quality. And in your current position, if all you do is just show people that you're running away from responsibilities, running away when things get tough, or you're blaming others for your own wrongdoing, then people will take notice of that. So throughout my career for the past 10 years, one of the biggest mistakes I see many people do is that they try to cover their own weakness. They have this fear of making mistakes. They're just too focused on being perfect. And making mistakes seems to be their doomsday. But I'm not sure if you notice, managers are not meant to be perfect in the first place. What makes a good manager is their ownership, their leadership, their responsibility, and their ability to guide their team to success. A good manager doesn't hide their weakness, but instead they acknowledge their weakness, they make it known to their team, and then they overcome it little by little. And to me, that's actually the most important point here, because not only do you need to acknowledge your weakness, but you also need to show that you're in the process of trying to overcome that weakness. You have a much better chance of getting promoted if you're able to show your employer that you're quick to think on your feet and you're able to make rapid decisions. You can make mistakes, but you need to be able to think fast, to act fast, so that you can minimize the risk thanks to all the decisions you made. So those 4 points is what got me started as a tech support, and now I'm a technical lead. The main thing here for me is really to gain as much exposure and experience as possible, to make mistakes and learn from them really quickly, and do not be afraid to take on challenges. I think challenges builds up character. It will make you stronger, it will make you feel more confident, and hey, confidence is what gets you promoted most of the time. So that's it from me in this video. If you like it, please do give this video a like and consider subscribing if you haven't done so. That would be much appreciated. I'll talk to you again in the next one. Take care and see ya.